Hello, Leland Community United Methodist Church members and friends, and other friends near and far. This is Pastor Tim with the Pastor Ponders Peninsula Perspectives. You know, I've heard this area referred to as God's country, a little bit of paradise, and as heaven on earth. This new edition of the Pastor Ponders comes to you from my porch at the parsonage of Leland Community United Methodist Church, otherwise known to our members here as LCUMC. The descriptions given previously might all be accurate, unless you're maybe trying to turn left from any place in the town of Leland. Life in Leland on the Leland Peninsula is a delight, to be sure. There's certainly some amazing views of Lake Leland and Lake Michigan. The air seems a bit fresher and cooler here. I have the privilege of seeing some of God's creatures from the parsonage porch. We see deer, we see chipmunks galore, we've seen a bobcat, and we also have visits from a very affectionate tabby cat from time to time. I'm told that there are coyotes and occasional bear sightings here. The two gentlemen who run our post office are considered rock stars because they deliver the mail to the proper places in a timely manner without having your mail ripped up, shredded, or not delivered at all. So hats off to Garth and Berkeley. As a pastor who has served all of his career till now in the old Detroit Annual Conference, I'd never thought it would be possible to serve a church on this western side of Michigan. And Chris and I are so thankful to have this opportunity to discover the beauty and the wonders of life on the west side. And while the landscape might be a bit different, one thing that remains the same is the grace and the love and the hospitality of God's children. We have been so warmly received by the people of Leland Community UMC. Cards and gifts of local treats have been shared with us. Invitations to gather for a cup of coffee at some of the local haunts have been received. Surprise pizza lunches have been shared lovingly by the workers of our local food ministry, 5 loaves, 2 fish. They've been delivered upstairs to the church office. Chris and I are starting to put together names and faces, but we're still having that deer in the headlights look when we see our church folks out in the community. We are so blessed to discover a new community that is so willing to share the love of God with one another. And really, all we can say is thank you. The original title for these little articles was Touching Base, the Pastor Ponders. They had their birth as I served as the pastor of Trinity United Methodist Church in Chesaning, Michigan. The original purpose was to maintain some sort of contact with our church families as the coronavirus shut churches down in March of 2020. They were placed online as a type of video blog, and they were also sent hard copy to our folks who had no online access. And soon they took on the form of an online devotional. Sometimes they allowed me to share some personal insights or to share a perspective on some of the social issues of our local community or our state, our country, our world. Always the goal was to share a spiritual perspective on our daily lives. And as the pandemic raged on, we discovered that the Pastor Ponders was reaching out to many more people than just our congregation. Some of these ponderings went viral, depending on who found them interesting and went on to share them with others. We were able to travel outside the 4 walls of our church. And so as we begin sharing the Pastor Ponders Peninsula perspectives with you, we have the same goal in mind. As your pastor, your spiritual leader, I want to share with the people of LCUMC biblical and spiritual perspectives for you to consider. Even though we are hopefully done with this pandemic and are back to worship and our time of fellowship with each other, it's our goal to reach beyond our walls and share the good news of Jesus Christ with anyone who seeks to grow their relationship with Christ and his followers. So I invite you to share these thoughts that we share with you with folks on your friends list. Let's grow a following so that people know that Leland Community United Methodist Church is indeed a beacon of Christ's unconditional love, providing refuge, ministry, and service to each other, our community, and our world. That's the mission statement for Leland Community UMC, and we hope we're true to it. Please remember the call of Abram in Genesis 12. God told Abram that God would bless Abram and his people if they in turn would be a blessing to others. That same promise is offered to us as well. God will offer blessings to us at LCUMC if we are faithful in being a blessing to others in our lives and in our community. So it's not just an opportunity, it's our calling. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again real soon.